welcome back to Brant Murphy Garage. Sorry for the little nasally. I always get like this right when fall starts. Might be the extra crap that's in the air, but whatever. So today we're actually going to be starting work on our 83 Trans Am. So mainly what we're going to be doing today is really just kind of cleaning her up and you know, just making her look a little bit more presentable. I've already done a few things to the car since the last time I uploaded a video, so it was just mainly some maintenance stuff. Let's see, what all did I do? I replaced the turn signal lights, so those work now. Both of them had bad bulbs. For this cold air intake system here, I am eventually going to redo this cord, but for the time being, there's a little flap up in here that when the signal would go to the wires that you had wide open throttle, there's like a little piston inside here that would push this open, that would drive the flap to go from shut to open. So honestly what I did is I just unbolted this little solenoid here, pulled it backwards to the point where now it's just open all the time, so I have constant air coming down into the engine. So it's a little jerry-rigged, but you know, it works for right now until I get it fixed, which I will get it fixed. But I kind of like that it's open all the time, so that way there's air constantly coming into the engine. I pulled the air filter housing off, put the new air filters in. I tried replacing these struts, or the lift supports for the hood, but the problem is that these quote-unquote new ones that came with the car were actually so old. Once I put them on the car, they don't work either. So I have new ones ordered, picking them up tomorrow, then we're going to put them on the car. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I did. Oh, my heater and air conditioning wasn't working. Like, it just wouldn't turn on at all. So I was like trying to figure out what was going on. Turned out the positive cable over here wasn't plugged into the blower motor. So I plugged that in, and now everything's fine and it works. Blew up some pieces of dash. I don't know if you can see that in there. Brought some crud up from inside the vents, but got it all blown out. It's good now. And the last thing I did was I put the steering wheel cover on, just because the steering wheel was the leather on it was pretty cracked. So I just put this cover on it just to kind of, you know, make it a little bit better, and I wouldn't have crap all over my hands when I drive it. Other than that, I think I blew out the diaphragm in the brake booster this morning. I pressed down on the brake really hard, and then all of a sudden there's a small little pop, and now there's a hissing sound whenever I press down on the brakes. So yeah, blew out the diaphragm. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to vacuum out this engine bay, and then we're going to coat it with the degreaser, and then we're going to wash everything out. So let's get to it. Alright, we pretty much got the whole engine bay kind of vacuumed out here. The biggest thing was that little rat's nest that was back there at one point. That's all cleaned out now. Surprisingly, even under all that crap, those wires are still in pretty decent condition. I haven't really seen many that have been chewed through, so that's good. I think now I'm just going to go get a couple of microfibers, toss them in that little opening there, and then we'll hit it with the degreaser. We'll let it sit for a little bit. This stuff wants the engine bay to be dry, so that's why we're doing this first, and then we're going to wash the car. But yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll let it sit and soak, and then we'll wash it out with a hose and a nozzle only. Do not power wash the inside. I mean, I guess you could, But me, I like to be better safe than sorry and not put any high pressure on old wires and hoses and stuff in here. So just hose with a nozzle head and you should be good. One thing I am going to try to do though is save this old Sears maintenance sticker that's sitting in here, the one that was dated, looks like February of '87. So I have this old piece of cardboard. I'm just going to set it on top. Then I'm going to take some packing tape. I'm just going to tape it down. I don't want to put tape directly on top of this because I don't want to rip it up. But hopefully what I'll be able to do, be able to tape this down on top. And because I'm not going to be using a pressure washer for the engine bay, hopefully the tape will be able to stick on long enough to not soak into the old maintenance tag. So we're going to do that, then throw our microfibers in there, and then degrease. Alright, so we coated it. We'll let that sit for about 10-15 minutes according to the can. Then we'll come in here with the hose and we'll spray her off, and hopefully we'll get rid of some of this gunk and crap in here. So here's hoping. There's a lot of crap in here, so we'll see. Alright, it's been soaking for about 15 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and spray it down. I don't have high hope for these wheel wells because I was over there kind of trying to scrub some of the gunk off of it. Like I really had to put pressure into it to scrape it off. So for some parts of the engine bay, I may have to come back in later with like a brush and try scrubbing some of this stuff off on the side. But let's go ahead and spray the rest down, and hopefully it'll look a little bit better. Okay, so we went ahead, cleaned it all down here. Looks a little bit better, I would think. Got a lot of this gunk and stuff off the sides over here. Still probably need to come in with the brush and clean some of this stuff up. These inner wheel wells aren't too bad. Some of it started coming up, but I honestly think I just need to come back in here and hit with the brush. This side actually cleaned up pretty decent. As you can see, this used to be just like straight black over here. So cleaning it, we got that pretty much, you know, decently cleaned. I'll come back in, scrub that down at another time. Other than that, we're just gonna let this air dry. It's actually really nice out today. It's super bright, as you can see. So we're just gonna let this air dry, sit the way that it is, and we'll start moving on to the rest of the car. We're gonna move on to washing the car next. I already did the wheels, did that off camera. It's simple. Wheel brush, some wheel cleaner, scrub it, rinse them, whoop-de-doo. So we're gonna wash the outside of the car, and then I'm probably gonna wax it, but I'll probably wax it later, like after the video's over. You guys don't need to see me, you know, break my back, you know, because I'm still a little messed up from the Tahoe accident, waxing this thing. So I'll wash it, get her, you know, cleaned up, and then we'll move on to the interior. We're actually gonna take the seats out, and we're gonna vacuum up the interior and maybe try to bring a little bit of life back into these seats. But yeah, that's what we're doing next. on to the interior. I'm gonna pull these seats out here, and then I'm gonna vacuum everything out. I'm gonna pull these back ones out too. The back ones are easy. I should be able just to pull them out. I gotta clean all this crap out of the back. I don't know if I've ever shown you guys this, but the power seat still works. Look at that. And I don't know what this back button does. Sounds like it's doing something, but I don't see anything moving. But that one's just a manual seat. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull these out. I think I just need to pull the plastic off this or pull it aside. I got bolts down in here. I just gotta take these bolts out and pull these seats out. There'll probably be a little clip for this that I just have to undo. And then we'll go ahead and we'll start cleaning out the interior. So these are the seats out of the car. Here's the driver's seat. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not fantastic, but it's not too bad. So what I'm gonna do with these seats is I actually didn't want to soak them in water and then clean them, just because the foam in these are still really good. So I'm scared if I soak them up with water and then they dry out, that I'm gonna make that foam brittle. And I'm not really feeling that. So I'm just gonna take some detail spray and kind of just try to lightly clean these seats up. Along with this though, let's see here. That seat in particular was kind of a bear to get out of the car. You see these plastic pieces right here? This one's actually busted, sadly. Well, that's plastic. Unlike the passenger seat, the plastic pieces that cover the bolts for the passenger seat are screwed in. These are not. These are like pushed up into the seat, and it's kind of hard to get them out. So I kind of struggled getting this out of the car, but we got them and then we unbolted them. So what holds these front two seats in is going to be 4 13mm bolts. You just crank them out, I guess, you know, just go in there and loosen them and pull the seats out. I sprayed WD-40 on them, regardless of what they look like. The driver's side was actually a little, there were some rusty bolts for the driver's side. These are them. But if you come in here, like, I don't think it's too bad. We'll see what happens when I go ahead and when we eventually pull the carpet out of this car. But thing is, I don't think these T-tops are original, for one of two reasons. First thing is, I don't know if you can see this, but this is a little sticker I found, and it says T-top protected by the night watchman. Okay, like, now that could just be a little sticker, but I think that these were new T-tops because there is glass in here everywhere. So I think these are not the original T-tops that came with the car, considering the amount of glass that I found underneath these seats. And there's even some glass over there on that side too. This is where the rear driver's side seat was, and those are actually they just slide in here, and you just have this one 13mm bolt that anchors them in. So you just unscrew that and they come right out, no problem. It's not too bad over here. Really didn't find anything of much interest. You still can see the white paint on here, so it's actually, I think the floors are actually in decent condition, but when we pull the carpet, we'll see. We'll go over to the passenger side. I'll show you what this is like. These bolts here were better, that were holding the passenger side seat down. They're not as rusty, and you can still see the white paint underneath here too. So you can actually kind of really see it over there on that one. Not too bad. But this is where the rear passenger seat was sitting. As you can tell, it's orange under here, because yeah, there was rust under here. But I found out where that was coming from, and somehow out of all the seats, this one looks like it kind of ended up being somewhat of the worst. The metal bars back here started rusting out, but yeah, that one's actually not in great condition, but it'll do for right now. We'll fix that out later when we get them reupholstered. But it looks like this back seat had seen some better days. It didn't look so bad when I got it, but honestly, this is probably the worst seat, so I'm going to be as gentle as I can with this one. This will definitely get reupholstered. That one's not bad. Driver's side isn't bad. Passenger side, just over there, is bad. So we'll clean these all up, vacuum out the interior. I really didn't find anything too cool when I pulled the seats out. I got a receipt from, I don't even know. Maybe it was a, well, it says server. Maybe it was a restaurant receipt at some point. I found an old sticky note that I can barely read the writing on that. I think that says drawings. H-I. I don't know. Then we got this. This looks like a dry cleaner receipt. Kind of cool. And then of course the T-top protector sticker. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna vacuum this out, clean it up, detail the inside a little bit, put the seats back in, and the car will be pretty much close to being done. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna go ahead and do a compound polish and wax on it today or not. We'll see what happens. I still have to go pick my kid up from daycare, but maybe the wife can do that. We'll see what happens. Alright, so I just got this Griot's Garage interior cleaner. This is the stuff I'm just going to lightly spray on the seats. And I'm just going to wipe them down with the terry towel. Just, you know, I'm just going to be very gentle with these seats. Just because most of them, I would say, well, 3/4 are in good shape. That rear back one, she ain't looking so hot. But hopefully we can help bring that around a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then we're gonna clean out the interior, and then we're gonna put the seats back in. Here we go. All right, we pretty much got this old girl all cleaned up. Got the seats back in. It was actually easier putting these plastic bits back in because found out that that's what this button does. It was stuck. It's not stuck anymore, but it raises the back. So because of that, I was able to actually slide this back in. So I broke the pre-soft back there for no reason. Yay me, great. Hopefully I can fix it. The seats turned out pretty okay. They're still a little dingy here and there, but you know what? I'm gonna get these recovered anyways. I wasn't able to do too much with that back one just because it's crumbling, so I'm basically letting that one sit the way that it is. The driver's seat came out really well. Door panels came out really well. There was a whole bunch of grime on the inside windows here that ended up cleaning. We got some pretty crystal clear windows now. It's all looking good. Got that dash wiped down, basically got it all nice and wiped down. There's some, I don't know what that is, some schmutz or something right there on the radio. I have to go in there with some more aggressive stuff and get that goop out. But what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take her for a quick little spin and let her warm up a little bit, come back and park her, and then the next time you see her, hopefully I will have compounded, polished, and waxed the paint, try to bring it back a little bit. And then we're gonna start doing some engine related things. We're gonna do an oil change on her, definitely flush out the coolant, maybe do a transmission transmission fluid change, although I pulled the dipstick, and it's fairly, you know how ATF looks, like that darker red-ish look. It's still pretty, it doesn't look like it's been burnt too much. But I may flush that too and change out the filter and the transmission and stuff. But overall, pretty happy with how she turned out. I think she turned out pretty good. She looks really well. This paint just needs to be brought back to life, I think. Kind of seems like it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's not chalky, but it kind of has the look of being a little chalky. But engine bay turned out decent. Got a little bit more work to do in here, just some going over with fine scrubbing areas and getting that done. But yeah, thank you all for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more stuff like this and you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you can know when I post new videos. And leave a comment on what you think about the car so far and what we're planning on doing. Shoot, yeah. Other than that, thank you guys. Have a great one, and hopefully I'll be posting something here soon. Bye.